Hello, this is Bill Thomas, and welcome to the Leadership Power Paradigms episode for today. Of course, we try to get on, a little bit less than a minute before our scheduled time, so that gives people time to join us. And as we're waiting for that, of course, we want to make sure that our YouTube video recording is working well as well. So here we are. Hello and welcome. This is Bill Thomas. Welcome to this episode of Leadership Power Paradigms. I'm going to start our slideshow right at this moment. And if you give me a quick second to expand that so everyone can see it, welcome. And this is Leadership Power Paradigms episode examining the products, placements, and positions of leadership activity. Because they have learned that their purposes enable them to produce the desired results and products. Their principles help them position and place their focus on the best possible avenues for attaining their objectives, and the practices they choose to employ will empower them to get the job done efficiently and effectively. That is why wise managers employ the proven purposes, principles, and practices of highly effective leadership. In my more than 40 years of practicing leadership, along with 25,000 plus hours of teaching and studying leaders, I have found that these four tenets tend to hold true in most circumstances and in many situations. That practicing transformational, situational, or spiritual leadership without a rigorous philosophy has no real basis for realism and or a vision. That leadership that is guiding enterprises or entities without an empathic strategic intention doesn't really tend to take people very far. That leadership that operates on people, processes, or products without purposeful activity has no real impact. And that leadership that continues without injections or installments of energy is never quite sustainable or fully involved. Your ability, strengths, and your insights to get the results you desire by channeling, amplifying, and magnifying and enhancing these elements, issues, and opportunities which are found inside of every team, enterprise, or organization. That means that your leadership power and your abilities are being effective. Peter Drucker applied the lessons of scientific historian Thomas Kuhn's structure of scientific revolutions, and he identified that our current model for technology is now based upon our understanding of the biological processes occurring within an organism or an ecological niche, and that those biologic processes are not organized around electrical, magnetic, atomic, or other forms of physical energies, but those biological processes are information-based energies. What your typical HR-led leadership or management development course will never tell you is this: leadership and management and economics and governance and things like marketing communications use scientific principles, and thus they are socially based technologies, and that every technology has its own techniques, methods, disciplines, systems, etc., to achieve its desired results. The ecological niches that leaders like you and I operate in can be social activities, such as the actions that you and I are involved in right at this very moment, this webinar, or your conversations with your boss or an employee. Then there are social ecological niches, could be a profession, an industry, something similar to those types of endeavors, what we call sectors many times, like lawyers, medicine, accountancy, and social ecosystems are what we call organizations, agencies, corporations. Even a major account team can be a social ecosystem. Remember that your leadership power, ability, strengths, and insights have to work on something called human capital, and every form of capital, whether it is financial, physical, like equipment, or a system, or human capital, always has certain specific attributes, resource definitions, asset assignments, and types of impacts that capital makes on the greater entity. For example, in financial capital, it could be a corporation or equity marketplace like a stock exchange. And for human capital, it could be for the team or the department, division, a community, or an organization that you might be involved with. It's simple, really. Your ability could be skills, processes, competencies, etc. You could have psychological, spiritual, emotional, or personality or mental strengths. Of course, your insights in intuition or inquisitiveness and other perceptual or conceptual abilities will provide you with great observational powers. Of course, you would want to use, employ, or deploy any one or more of your three power elements. I mean your ability, strengths, or insights to pursue and work on and work with any one or more of these three purposes, missions, mandates, or goals. These two lists of activities and roles are the practices every leader needs to engage in. This doesn't mean that you actually have to do all the work or have the perfect knowledge to perform these tasks or act and behave in these ways. These lists mean that you have to ensure that those tasks and behaviors and actions are being used or addressed by your teammates, colleagues, employees, or partners. Why do leaders act? Because every challenge, every problem, trouble, difficulty, or opportunity you encounter as a leader will require that you take action on something, that you act with some idea, you act for some compelling reason, and that you act toward some form of progress or advancement. Professionals like you need to be able to assess, evaluate, and determine their performances. Since you're in the business of leadership, you'll want to know the quantity and the quality of your products or outcomes. In a word, what types of results are your leadership activities producing? Are your experiments, tests, plans, or maps coming out the way you intended them to? Or are things happening that are out of your control or out of your anticipation? Effective leadership means being aware of these two forms of or realms of human reality. By placing the emphasis, attention, and knowledge of your actions on both forms of reality, you are much more likely to capably channel, amplify, magnify, or enhance the social energy powers and human capital impacts within your organization's orbit and your own circle of influence. You will need to position your leadership actions in such a way as to be seen by others as being objective and just, or concerned and caring about the welfare of others, or as being honest and ethical, or as being trusting and respecting others, as being willing to inspect what you expect, or as being a leader who empowers, educates, and encourages each and every one with substantial matter, not just by shouting over the rooftops and assuming you have helped anybody. In fact, this principle of universal integrity is actually a moral argument. It speaks to the logic of the golden rule, that is, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Legendary leadership is entrepreneurial in its approach, it's transformational in its intentions, it's philosophical in nature, and professional in its methods. So today, we've learned that effective leadership embraces proven principles like being philosophical. It also involves acting with and acting through positions of universal integrity. It also involves accepting the current paradigm for leading within social systems and seeing that there are big ideas behind leadership placements and products. And finally, you were given some suggestions about to best how the best practices, clearly defined purposes, and unlimited powers can make leaders like you even more effective than you are today. So this ends today's lesson, but as you're looking at this agenda, you see that it shows you what you will learn, practice, and master in this legendary leadership power tutorials and coaching monthly performance improvement support program. And in there, you will also participate in 2 group coaching sessions every month. These are 75 minutes to 90 minutes each, and you will have 60 minutes a month of private one-on-one coaching and tutoring follow-up with me. Just you and I sharing notes, diagrams, ideas, strategies, exercises, and case studies. Plus, you get a DVD or CD filled with useful ebooks, papers, reports, video, or tutorial, um, audio tutorials, and more. Plus, you get free access to my 60 plus minute webinars and online classes every month. This program is like getting a university level PhD in leadership and practical management for less than a tenth of the cost of that university program. So let me encourage you to enroll yourself today, and I'll see you there. Now, I'm going to take any questions while you guys are waiting for me to give you your free bonuses for attending today's webinar. So if you give me a quick second, I will run back over to the control panel and I'll put that into the chat area. And I'll also look for any questions that you might have. And while I'm doing my thing, if you have any questions or you feel like you got something out of this session, please just leave me a quick note in the chat area. And while you're doing that, I'll start copying and pasting the information about your free bonuses as well. Okay, well, here's the first one. Now, this first bonus is the 5 Leadership Uplifter Tasks infographic. You can actually download it. It's a PDF, and that's the second link there. But the first link, the one right underneath that announcement of the infographic, will also sign you up to the mailing list where we have a lot more free educational materials for you concerning leadership and management practices. And you might want to take advantage of that by signing up to that list. My little timer says that I was on time this time again. So while you're downloading that, using that link to download that infographic, I'll also put up the link to the most recent edition of our Words with Wisdom um, executive guide. That is the Rainbow Moment of Black Elk. It's a very interesting series of tips and strategies and great ideas to help you to um, perform at a higher level as a leader. And that is, again, another one of the PDF documents that you can download and use for your own education and edification as well. Now, I'm just going to wait another minute or so for for any questions or comments that you might want to make about this. And while you're doing that, I'll also put up today's offer. It's the Legendary Leadership Power Tutorials and Coaching Monthly Performance Improvement Program. It's part of our Imagination Age Leadership Power Program series. This is a really great way to get custom tailored leadership education for you, since everything that you will get is probably the most appropriate information to help you to perform as a more effective leader. So that's the idea behind that. And if you click on that button, it will open up a new tab in your window, or it will open up a new window or a new tab on your browser, is what I really want to say. So you can click on that with confidence and sort of hold that and review it at your leisure. Now, for you, for those of you who are looking at the replay and or looking at the YouTube video, you just simply need to use the link that was at the bottom of that last slide, which is www.one-im.com/LPP-legends. That's www.one-im.com/LPP-legends, and that'll take you to the same place that my little webinar thing has here on the side, on the right-hand side of the page. So if there are no questions or no comments that you choose to make, I'm going to thank you for attending today's episode. Look forward to next week's episode, which I'm not going to tell you what it is because I'm not really quite sure what it will be, but it will be either a concept of leadership or a business of leadership episode. So I look forward to seeing you then. Until then, I hope you have a great week. God bless you, and Godspeed to you, and all the very best success in your leadership endeavors. This is Bill Thomas saying, have a great day. Goodbye.